Hello my lovelies, welcome to the Goddess Enchantments channel. My name is Claire and today we're going to be doing a walkthrough of the Mists of Avalon Oracle. This has been a huge request. So many of you have emailed me, Facebook messaged me asking if I was going to feature this deck. So here it is, specially for you guys. So if you are new here, welcome. If you enjoy the video, I would love it if you came and subscribed. Don't forget to click the notification bell and join our YouTube family. If you are a subscriber already, then welcome back my lovelies. And if you do enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below, because it really helps us with the YouTube algorithm and getting more spiritual videos out there. So the Mists of Avalon Oracle, this is published by Rockpool, so you've got your standard tuck box. This is the back. It is 36 cards and a guide book. So this is obviously your book. We'll go through in a bit. This is your box, like so. Okay. And then this is our cards. So let's take a look at the first one, number one. So the setup of these cards, they all have a border around the outside. They all are numbered, so it's easy for you to use the book to look up the meanings if that's something you like to do. And then you also have 4 keywords or statements around the edge of the border. So for example, we've got the Abbey here, interconnectedness, purpose, serenity, and sacred blessings. So the setup is very simple. The artwork is quite simple as well. I've reviewed a lot of decks recently. Let's move along. The tour, a lot of decks recently that's got so much symbology in, a lot for you to look in and find, and every time you look you see another hidden symbol or a little hidden elemental in a tree. These are much more basic artwork, but all still very beautiful, and they're almost slightly muted pastel colors, but they have a very earthy feeling to them. So I actually really like the art and the setup and the color of this deck as a whole. Even the back is quite earthy. So then we have the Isle of Avalon here, rest, renewal, mystery, and healing. The Chalice Well, of course, with the robin, which every time we go, the little robin comes and sits on the tree and sings a little song. I've got so many videos and things I've shared on our socials when we've gone and visited. Oh, I love visiting the Chalice Well. Then we have the beautiful White Spring, energy, gratitude, protection, and healing. These, if you're looking for a card of the day type deck, one you can pull a card from in the morning, get a quick reading of the energies without having to pick up a book. And if you're not really experienced in reading, because it has those keywords, that could be a plus for you, because you're immediately going to know the energy, and because there's not as much symbology in there, it's helpful for some people, you know, to have those words. So it may be a pro, it could be a con for you. There's keywords on there. Next we get to Camelot. This for me is where the deck really starts to go downhill, and why this wouldn't have been a deck I would have necessarily picked up myself, and except for the fact so many people had asked me to review it. So we have the Holy Thorn, of course. The Sacred Grove. That is a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. I love that. That would make a beautiful print. Chalice Hill, the Other World. They really have a wonderful energy to them. I love the energy of these cards. Excalibur, the Holy Grail, the Dragon, Sacred Union, the Mists of Avalon, Morgan Le Fay, the Lady of the Lake, Merlin, King Arthur. Now this for me is where this deck kind of loses me. For example, the next will be Guinevere. So it's very clear on the box when you go to purchase this that it has a heavy focus on the myth and legends of King Arthur and its connection to Glastonbury, because some of the myth includes the possibility that King Arthur and Guinevere were actually buried at the Abbey. However, historically, historians, archaeologists, the consensus pretty much everywhere in those communities is that that is not true and it is a myth. So for me, I've never really connected that energy to Glastonbury. You know, I've been going there for like a couple of decades now. It's not an energy I work with when I work with Avalon energy. So this is where my connection starts to then wane away from the deck. But this could be something that for you, you're really connected to. So again, it's different pros and cons for different people. But the fact that it is so focused here on King Arthur and his real entire story, there's representation in here. For me now, we've kind of left that Avalon energy. Galahad. See, that for me, just, although of course you can connect in with the energy from the myth and what Galahad represents, and then you could try and work that back into Glastonbury and Avalon and that energy, it just doesn't come together, because then we jump straight in here to the priestess of Avalon, back into the energy, fairy, then we're jumping back out. So you can see it's there's actually not a huge amount of, for me, the type of Avalon energy I work with in the deck. Beautiful Rhiannon. You've of course got the goddesses, so you can work with the goddess cards. But I have to say, I wasn't really connecting in with the art for the goddesses as much. The King of the Fairy Realm and the White Heart. So that's the deck. And then we move along to the book. Now it's a nice book. It's got colour images in it all the way up to a full-size image in the back, which I do like. Let's go in here. So at the front you've got, of course, your cards, and they're all numbered, so you can very easily use this book if you're someone who uses the book, who likes to learn the book, or if you're brand new to reading and you want an easy reference. It's very, very easy because your cards are numbered, so you don't have to look it up. Acknowledgements, little introduction about the energy of the deck, how to use cards, 1 card, 3 card, very basic spreads and no pictures of the layout. So then we've got a little bit of a deeper one here. And then we go into the meanings themselves. So here you've got obviously your number, the name of the cards. You've got the 4 words that are actually featured on the cards. You've got sort of a sentence here, then the message, and then you have some historical, some energetic. So let's read one and have a little look, shall we? Okay. You shall never be given more than is deserved or beyond your abilities at any time. Message. Reflect on all the decisions you've made on your life journey so far. You are called to create a new path that is more spiritually aligned with your current belief system. Do not operate from your past mindset. You cannot create anything new if you think, feel, and do things the same way you've already done them. So that's sort of your message from the card. The ruins of the Abbey stand as a reminder that our time is limited on this earthly plane. This is the time to live your life on your terms. Reflect on the card of the Abbey, beneath whose sacred grounds lie the earthly remains of Joseph of, I'm sorry, I cannot say that word, Guy. I'm not going to butcher it because you know I hate doing that. Keeper of the Holy Grail, and the royal couple Arthur and Guinevere, who are buried here amid ancient yew trees. Now we've hit a problem for me because that is being kind of presented as fact, and it is not fact. You can look into it. There's 2 people that have accounts of seeing the bodies there. Those 2 accounts don't match up. Then you can see what historians say, what archaeologists that have worked on the site say, and you can have a look for yourself, of course. So for me, I'm like, not loving that. New possibilities and new beginnings are about to manifest, but not until you've taken the time to reflect. The seed that has been lying dormant now wants to take root, but for that to happen, you must first release all that no longer serves you and is no longer relevant in your life. Words, Claire, my gosh, the he is getting to me, guides. In other words, your old life has run its course, like those of Guinevere and Arthur in their resting place at the Abbey ruins. Not loving. The Abbey card asks that you find a retreat from the frenetic pace of everyday life and consider these questions. Have you lived your life well? Have you loved well? Have you been authentically you? Take time to nourish your spirit. Spend time in solitude and silence. Like an ancient temple of Avalon, the Abbey is a reminder of our life cycles and that you must do your soul's work while here on earth. Consider the essence of you, your actions, and your energy that you leave behind. Use this time and space to reflect on what you want from your life, all that is missing, and all that you want to leave behind as your legacy. Once you've done all this, you will move on to the next stage of your life's journey. Now, with the way the meanings in the books are written, I mean, someone's not realistically on their spiritual path going to achieve all of those things in one go to then be able to move on to the next stage of their life's journey, because life is a journey and we're constantly healing, we're constantly adapting, we're constantly changing even our spiritual path, learning new things, finding new ways of working. You know, it's constantly evolving. So I think that card's a little bit, for me, shut down. And that's the same with some of the meanings within here. They're a little bit tight and constrictive to me. But that's just, again, my personal opinion. So you've also got the end, a little like affirmation. I know myself well and I live an authentic life. So that's kind of what they look like. It's a lot of information on there. So if you're someone who likes a book that's got quite a bit in it, and then you've got the Camelot one. So again, I think these messages are, for me, better suited to the cards than necessarily the rest. So, for example, this one, you are torn between the known and the unknown. Do not be afraid to dream a new dream for yourself. Consider what the new dream of the world around you might look like. You may want to remain in your comfort zone because it's safe and predictable, but you will always be longing for more. Remain true to your principles. Know that with inspired imagination, anything is possible. So those meanings for me are a little bit more appropriate to the cards. It's still a little bit bossily worded, but is that just me? Let me know down below, guys. So then you have all about Camelot here, the energies of Camelot, of talking about the love affair. So you can pause and read that yourself if you would like to see, because I know with this one it's going to be a difficult one. I think people are either going to be loving this deck or really not connecting with it at all. I don't think there's an in-between. So there's a few more pages for you to have a look at. So then the book goes on and it's just to the back is your meanings. There's a little bit about the author and the illustrator. So all in all, the artwork on these cards is lovely. I love the earthy feel because it does have, for me, when I think of Avalon, a lot of the time when I work with Avalon energy, I'm working with sort of purples and greens, and that's kind of the energy I've always associated with Avalon and Glastonbury as a whole. So those colours really, really speak to me. I like the art. I think it's very beautiful art. It's a little bit more simple. Like I say, these are good cards for quick readings. For my practice anyway. I forgot to mention cardstock. It's typical rock pool cardstock. It's not super duper flimsy, but it's not a really strong card either. It will get damaged at the ends. I have a couple that are already. So, oh yeah, and there's a few little rough bits along them as well. But I do really like the art. I think it's lovely. I think it really comes down to, with this deck, if you were looking at just a name and the front picture, and that's how you were choosing your deck, you could feel you were getting something that you're not. If you're looking at it and thinking that's going to be a very Avalon, the goddesses, maybe the wheel, more about the land, more about the wells, and those more like those things that we can actually visit and that we can experience that aren't myth and legends. If you're looking for that kind of deck, this is not going to be it for you, and you're going to be very disappointed at the lack of specific of those kind of Avalon energies type cards. If you're someone that really connects with the Abbey, if you're someone that connects that a lot to Avalon, if you're someone that connects with the legend of King Arthur, if you believe that for you, you've been there and you feel that King Arthur and Guinevere were buried there, then this is going to be a deck that you're going to absolutely love to work with and connect in with. So it's very much kind of what are you looking for type thing with this particular deck. The book, as I said, I'm not one for books anyway, but it's not really worded and written in a way I like, where like kind of myth is presented as fact, and it's almost a very strict kind of book with like, this is what you have to do this. It's not really encouraging your own exploration and outside of that, for me anyway. But if you're someone who wants very specific messages and guidance, then having a book that is so specific that you don't have to know how to read intuitively, you can work with the keywords here, you've got very in-depth meanings and energy work to do in here, it's going to be a plus for you. So I'd be interested down below. Let me know, is this a deck you love? Does this represent Avalon energy to you? Have you bought the deck and you absolutely adore it? Do you not connect with it? Do you wish it was more of the other aspects of Avalon? Did you get it and not enjoy it? Let us know, because the more opinions that we have, it helps us make a better decision about where we're going to put our money, which we're all thinking a lot more about these days. So when we buy a deck, ideally we want to hopefully love it. I'm going to be passing this deck along to a friend who is going to love working with it, so it has a home to go to already. So my lovelies, that is it from me. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I will speak to you all very soon. I've got a front facing crystal video coming. I know there's been a lot of downward facing reviews lately. I've been catching up with those. Plus it's been super hot here and it's a lot easier for me to have the lights down than on me. 40-degree heat does not agree with me. So I will see you all very soon here on YouTube. I will speak to you all over in our group in Facebook. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Blessed be.